Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and another tutorial. I am happy to be showing you today how to make the Kensley tote by Sew Yours. I tell you, this was such a fun, quick make. This is very beginner friendly. I think anybody could do this if you take it slow. There's really nothing too hard about this bag. Now, because there are so many tutorials on this one already, I wanted to switch it up and do just a few things different just to show you how versatile Sew Yours patterns are. So what I did this one with a recessed zipper. The pattern is instructions for a magnetic snap, but I want to show you how easy it is that you can convert it into a recessed zipper. I did my flap a little bit different, as I did edge paint around the flap, so I left my edges raw and I edge painted those. I show you how I do that. All the other tutorials show this as a birth bag, so I decided I would show you how to do it as a drop-in lining. And I tell you, as a drop-in lining, it goes together so incredibly fast. And it's an easy drop-in lining because it's not a top zipper. I find when it's a top zipper drop-in lining, yeah, I can't do it. But when it's a recessed zipper, game on, I can totally do it. Let me show you some of the features of this bag. So this one I've actually done with extra long handles, as this is for a client and she likes longer handles. In the front here, in the pattern, it's a magnetic snap, or you could do a turn lock. I did an edge magnetic snap here. So you got a slip pocket there. It would be so easy to add a zipper pocket or another slip pocket on the back of this bag, like so simple. Again, a recessed zipper. And on the inside, again, I did my standard zipper pocket and slip pockets. I do them the same in all of my bags, so it may not be exactly the same as what's in the pattern, just because I try to keep consistency in the bags that I make. So all my linings are always the same. So yeah, the vinyl I use in this is the Bordeaux Mora faux leather from Emmeline Bags. My matte black hardware is from Serial Bag Makers. My matte black zippers are from Atelier Fiber Arts. I used Galaxy Custom So Pink foam as my main stabilizer. I put a little bit of Peltex in this flap just so when I screwed this in, it had a little extra to grab onto. It does not have that in the pattern. That's just what I added in because I want to make sure that I could get a snug fit for my magnetic snap. Again, Peltex. I used EBFuse Lite on all of my cotton pieces, and then Giardini edge paint for my flap. Yeah, it's actually pretty minimal hardware. Like it's just, it was a delight to make. I will be making more of these for sure. There's Coco. Anyways, what else to say about this bag? I think that is it. So why don't we get to making this bag, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
All right, we're going to need rivets, some number 5 zipper tape, a magnetic snap of some sort, 2 number 5 zipper pulls, 4 D-rings or connector rings, your nameplate, and a zipper end. Okay, you're going to need your 2 lining main panels backed with woven interfacing, your 2 zipper pockets lining panels, your front pocket exterior and lining panel, 2 pieces for your flap, your front exterior pocket back, your 2 exterior side pieces, your 4 zipper panel pieces, your 2 back and front exterior tops, your exterior back, your front and back exterior bottoms, your 2 lining top panels, 4 connectors, and your straps. I'm going to be using So Pink sew-in foam and some Peltex in my flap. All right, so I'm going to prepare my flap first. Now, I prefer to put a little bit of Peltex outside of the seam allowances just to give a little extra stability. Now, if you're doing a magnetic snap normally, you would be installing the magnetic snap on the lining side of this, but I am doing a different kind of snap which will go on the edge, so I am not putting that in here. Now I'm going to take some double-sided tape and I'm going to put my 2 flap pieces wrong sides together. Again, if you are using a magnetic snap, make sure you've installed the male end of that on the lining piece. Okay, then we're going to sew these together with a 3/8 of an inch top stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to take my ruler and I am going to trim the seam down to 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now the way I'm doing this does leave a raw edge, but I am going to edge coat these. This is how I like to do my flaps. You can also do it as per the pattern where you have a cotton side on the lining side and you can just turn these through, but this is just how I like to do my flaps. And then I'm going to take this over to my paint station and I am going to edge coat all of these edges, not the long top one though. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go off camera and do my handbag straps as well. If you need that class, it's down below. Now for the 4 connectors, I've gone ahead and I've drawn a line down the center and put some double-sided tape, and I'm folding the long sides into that center line. And I will do that with all 4, and then I'm going to top stitch down the folded edges with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so that is all done. I'm going to put on my D-rings or my connectors, and I'm going to fold these connectors wrong sides together and hold them with some tape and my clips. Okay, so if you are doing the regular magnetic snap, you want to make sure you are installing that as per the pattern on the lining panel. But again, because I'm using this edge magnetic snap, I have to do it a little bit different. So I'm going to take my 2 exterior pocket pieces, put them right sides together and pin or clip along the top. Again, if you've used a regular magnetic snap, you would have installed the female side on the lining part of this. Right, so I'm going to sew these together with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I apologize for the bad lighting. It's a really, really rainy day today and I have no natural light, so my lighting is just all over the place. All right, so now we want to put these 2 panels wrong sides together. I'm using a little bit of double-sided tape on the vinyl side just because I can't press it and I want a really nice crisp seam. Again, only use the double-sided tape if you know your machine can handle it. Otherwise, use clips to hold everything in place. And then we're going to top stitch that with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now that that's done, so now I have to figure out my placement for my magnetic snap as I'm using an edge snap. So I'm going to take my front pocket back piece. I have my centers marked on the top and the bottom and then on the bottom of my pocket here. And I'm going to line that up and just secure it with some clips. And I just realized I had just said to install the magnetic snap on the lining side of this. You will not have done it on the lining side. You will have done it on the exterior panel. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I got to figure out where my magnetic snap is going to go. So I'm going to center my flap on here like so. I'm going to make sure I am definitely centered. And then I'm just going to mark on where my snap is with my leather pen here and push hard, and it's going to leave a dot right where I need to install the female side of my snap. So then I can take my pocket piece off, pull my lining out of the way, and install my snap. Okay, so that's done. I backed it with a piece of Decovil Heavy just for extra stability, and then I also like to put some duct tape over that. Okay, so now you're going to take, I'm just going to make sure this is lining up really good and it's all in place, and hopefully I did not mess it up and I look good. And then I'm going to take my pocket and I am going to clip it to my exterior back piece. You can remove the flap for now. And then we're going to go ahead and base the pocket to the exterior pocket back piece. We're going to base them together. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to take our exterior side pieces, put them right sides together with this front panel. And we are going to stitch those on with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I like to use a little bit of double-sided tape again to press my seams, and you're going to be pushing these seams towards the side panels and then top stitching it into place. And you do the exact same thing with the other side. Right, so now we can put our flap in place here. So again, match up your center marks. And then you're going to take your connector pieces and you're going to line them up on the left and right hand side of our flap. With our raw edges matching up here, and our connectors should be facing down. Okay, now I'm going to take my back exterior piece. I'm going to find my centers on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to use my front panel to mark the placement of my connectors. So I'm just going to put them on top of one another and take my erasable pen, and I'm just going to mark where my connectors are using the front piece like that. Clip the connectors in place. And then we're going to go ahead and baste all of these into place on the front and the back panels. So that is done. So now we're going to take our front and back top pieces, find our centers, clip them in place, and then we're going to do the exact same thing with our bottom panels. Then we're going to sew them all in place with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Then once that's done, we want to have our seams facing towards the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to go ahead, because I'm using vinyl and I cannot take this to the iron to press, I'm going to use some double-sided tape to hold this in place to get a nice tight seam. Again, only use the double-sided tape if your machine can handle it. Otherwise, give it a good finger press. And you want these seams to be facing down. Now, I was having issues getting that to go because I had my flap in place. Undo your flap, and then it's a lot easier to get that seam to face down. And then you'll do the same with the bottom seam and then repeat with the back panel. Now we're going to go ahead and top stitch along the bottom of these seams. So for the top, you're going to be top stitching on the middle part underneath the flap. Now it does get a little bit thick right where the connectors are, so if you need a hump jumper, go ahead and use your hump jumper. And then along the bottom as well. Okay, so now we are going to prepare our zipper for our zipper panel. So on one end, on the back side of our zipper tape, I like to make a mark 1 inch up. That's for putting on our zipper pull later. On the other side, you're going to take the two ends and fold them down at a 90-degree angle like so. And then we are going to take this to the machine and baste these in place. Okay, so that's done. So you can go ahead and trim off the little wings here and pull your zipper tape apart. Make sure you have that line. Okay, and now we're going to take our zipper panels. Now on the wrong sides of these, we want to mark in at 3/4 of an inch on all sides. I'm doing one panel here. I'll do the other panel off camera. And then you're going to take double-sided tape or clips, and you are going to fold the short sides into that line. Okay, you want to make sure they are the same size. Now on one of them, you're going to measure in 3/8 of an inch. Add some double-sided tape. Again, use clips if your machine cannot handle double-sided tape. You're going to take on this piece your zipper right at that curved side, right side up. So both pieces are right side up, and you are going to stick it in place. Then you're going to take your exterior piece and go ahead, add some double-sided tape, and sandwich that zipper tape with the two panels right sides together. I'm going to take this to the machine, and we are going to sew it with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and you will repeat with the other side. Okay, so I do have my zipper fit on my machine so I could get nice and close and have a nice straight zipper. So now we are going to want to press these two panels wrong sides together. Again, finger press, or if you're using cotton, go ahead and take it to the iron, or if your machine likes double-sided tape like mine does, go ahead and use double-sided tape to press these seams into place. Okay, and now we are going to baste the bottom side of this where the raw edges are and top stitch the other three sides. Making sure the panel is completely even for top stitching, catching all layers. It's a little bit thick here, so I'm just using my hump jumper just because my Mora faux leather is rather delicate and I don't want my walking foot to eat it up at that seam. Again, go ahead and repeat with the other panel. Okay, so I just want to double check that I have these nice and straight. So I am going to install my zipper pull. This is where that line on the back of my zipper tape comes in handy. So when you put it into your zipper jig, again, I'm using it just a fork, you want to make it so that line lines up. I got it first try. That never ever happens. When you zip it up, you can see how my panels are even and my zipper looks good. So you can go ahead and take the pull off again. And that is how you will install your pull at the very end of the bag as well. Okay, so now we want to find the center of our zipper panels here. So I'm just going to fold them in half and do a small clip. Again, make sure that they match up. We want them to match up. So I'm just going to double check my centers, make sure my centers are accurate, and I'm good. Now I'm going to take my lining main panel and my lining top panels. I'm going to find the centers of all these pieces. Again, it's very important to double check your centers here because we want our zipper panels to line up properly. And I'm good. Now I'm going to take my lining panel and one of my zipper panels, both right sides up. I'm going to clip them into place. Again, important, the lining panel and the zipper panel are right sides up. And then you're going to take the lining top panel and sandwich that zipper panel in between right sides together. Flying clips everywhere, holy moly. Okay, go across here with the 3/8 finished seam allowance and do the exact same thing with the other panel. You can tell it's a little bit more sunny coming in the window as my lighting looks a little bit better here. Thank goodness. Hopefully it lasts. Make sure you don't sew through your zipper tape tail. Okay, and now we want to press the seam towards the bottom of the lining. So again, I am going to use some double-sided tape. You can finger press this. If you're using all cotton, go ahead and press it with an iron. I'm going to press that seam nice and tight, going towards the bottom. And then we're going to top stitch through the lining side of that to hold that seam in place. Then rinse and repeat with the other side. Okay, so we have all of our panels here. I went ahead and I did my zipper pocket and my slip pocket. Those classes are down below, how I do those. Now for all 4 of these panels, what we want to do is cut a 2" by 2" square out of the corner of the 2 lining panels and of the 2 exterior panels. So go ahead and do that with the other 3 as well. Okay, so I've also gone ahead on all of my main panels and drawn a 3/4 inch line along the top. And this is because we are doing a drop-in lining method, and you'll see how this will come into play. I've also gone ahead and I've cut my foam to my exterior pieces, and I've kept the foam underneath that 3/4 inch line. Now, because I'm using sew-in foam, it kind of is floppy here. So to hold that in place, I'm just going to take a little bit of double-sided tape and put it along the top of the foam here, just because this side is not going to end up being basted in. Hold it in place like so, and then go ahead and baste your foam to your exterior pieces. Okay, so that is all done. And I've gone ahead and I've installed some rivets and my nameplate as well. All right, so we want to take our main panels and put them right sides together. And we're going to be clipping together, matching up our seams the three sides. So you're going to leave the top unclipped, and the two corner cutouts we will not be clipping together right now. So just the two sides and the bottom. Again, try to match up your seams. I did not match my seams to perfection with this bag, as you will see in the end. So it must have slid out of place, but hey, it still looks amazing. So we're all good. So there's bottom seams and top seams that you want to match up to try to get a continuous line. Okay, so my foam's a little bit bulky here. So when I find that my foam's bulky, I just go ahead and I'm just clipping the foam, not the vinyl, just trimming off some of that excess foam like so at like a 45-degree-ish angle. It just takes away some of that bulk in the seam. Okay, so you would go ahead and sew these all with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so you're going to do the exact same thing with the lining side, except for you're going to start at a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. About here, you're going to branch out into a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. When it comes to sewing the corners will also be done at a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. The bottom's going to be done at a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And again, working up the side, when you get to about here, you'll branch back down into a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And this is to make it so our lining will not be baggy in the bag. Okay, so to do the corners, you're going to kind of pull them out like this. You're going to match up those center seams, lay them out flat. Hold them together with clips, and this is going to give us a really nice boxed corner. Now once we have these all in place, we will be sewing the exterior with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and the box corners of the lining will be sewn with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So you take it over to your machine. This is how I would hold it on my flatbed and go across here. Okay, so that is all done. So now I'm going to prepare my exterior for the drop-in lining. So these top seams, I've got a little bit of double-sided tape, and I am just going to lay these seams out flat. I'm going to secure them with some of my hair clips here, just because I don't trust my double-sided tape to hold them for too long. Do the same with the other side. Then I'm going to take more double-sided tape and lay them along that 3/4 of an inch line that we had just drawn. Okay, and do the exact same thing with the lining side. Okay, now take your exterior piece and pull it right sides out. And then we are going to start folding the top of the bag into that 3/4 of an inch line. Now, if you don't want to use double-sided clip or tape, you can definitely use clips instead to fold it into this line. So I like to start with my side seams first to make sure that they are going to line up nicely. And then I work my way along the front and the back. Folding in a nice crisp line right into that line. Okay, and then for the exterior, I also like to just take some clips to have them in place for when we're putting the lining and that together. So I have the lining already done, the exterior already done. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put the lining inside here, wrong sides together. Make sure you have your lining placement the way you want it. I like my zipper pocket at the back of the bag, so I'm making sure my zipper pocket is at the back. And then we're going to match up our folded edges. So again, I am going to start at my center seams here. Now you want these to be as even as they possibly can, because we are going to be top stitching these into place. Make sure your zipper tails are out of the way. And then clip it all the way around. Okay, so I have them all together. So if I was going to do this on my flatbed, I would probably go ahead and do it this way. Or if you trust your bobbin thread, you could definitely go ahead and top stitch from the inside of the bag. I'm going to take this to my cylinder arm. As this is exactly what I bought the cylinder arm for, to make my drop-in lining. It's so much easier. And this is really the last step of the bag. Once this is all done, all you have to do is go ahead and install your handles, your zipper pull, and your zipper end, and then you'll be done.
All right, that's it. That's all, folks. Who's going to try this as a drop-in lining? It was super simple as drop-in lining, and you did not have to worry about the pain of birthing it. I mean, this one would be easy to birth. If I were to birth it, I would have left the bottom open and my zipper pocket open, and then I would have boxed my corners and closed off my bottom of my lining through the zipper pocket if I were to have done it that way. Or you could do it her way in the pattern, which I believe is through the zipper pocket. So there's no wrong way to do it. Anyways, if you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you would like to support my channel further, you can buy me a coffee. That's down below. And also make sure you check out my memberships. I have memberships on my channel as well. So if there's something there that grabs your attention, make sure you join up so you don't miss out. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.